Just south of Bismarck, North Dakota, hundreds of Native American tribes from around the world have assembled. Their purpose is simple: to peacefully protest the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline. The pipeline's proposed route runs right underneath the Missouri River. Native Americans feel the pipeline runs over sacred land and is a direct hazard towards the water of the Missouri River. Since the Missouri River is considered federal land, the Army Corps of Engineers has the say on what happens in the area. After months of protests, the Army Corps of Engineers recently stated they will seek an alternate route for the pipeline. This is considered a huge victory for the Native Americans and their cause. But before understanding what this decision means as a whole, we need to look at each side of the argument, from the Native American side and the economics of the situation. Native Americans have a long and complicated relationship with the United States federal government. This relationship started when the colonials first stepped foot on North American land. After the Revolutionary War, the newly formed United States government pushed west into the heart of North America. As this idea of manifest destiny took place, clashes between Native Americans and white settlers occurred. Over time, treaties were formed between the United States federal government and Native Americans. These treaties helped define the relationship between the two. Unfortunately, most of these treaties were dissolved or broken in what was known as the Trail of Tears. In the Trail of Tears, tribes were forced to sign away their treaties and move to lands further west. Many other injustices have happened to Native Americans in the United States, such as children being forced to boarding schools to be re-educated and lose their tribal identity, or a continual degradation of the quality of life on Native American reservations. Back to the Standing Rock protest. Many people feel as though the Dakota Access Pipeline is a continuation of this federal mistreatment towards Native Americans. If a leak were to occur in the pipe, it would contaminate the only source of drinking water for the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. Many cited the building of the pipeline as a direct violation of Executive Order 13175. The order states that the federal government needs to consult with Native American agencies before carrying out legislation that would impact Native Americans. So, that's the meat and bones of why the Native Americans are protesting in the first place. But why does the pipeline need to be built? The construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline primarily comes down to economics and business interests. The pipeline is meant to build up oil infrastructure and make transportation of oil much more efficient. Currently, oil is transported out of North Dakota primarily by railroad. This indirect method of transportation is much more expensive than pipe and essentially places a bottleneck on the North Dakota oil supply. The North Dakota Bakken oil field has the capacity to produce almost as much oil as the Middle East. But the lack of transportation infrastructure has hurt the North Dakota economy. Many question the validity of North Dakota as an oil producer due to their inability to compete with foreign oil prices. As the price of oil dropped, transportation costs have become more critical. Essentially, oil refineries on the East Coast have reverted to importing foreign oil via ship. This has further increased the United States' reliance on foreign oil. The Dakota Access Pipeline seeks to solve the high costs of transportation. If the Dakota Access Pipeline is completed, North Dakota could see a resurgence of its economy. Many jobs would come back to the state, and it would be on par with Texas as an oil producer. Also, the United States would become less reliant on foreign oil. With the election of Donald Trump, the Dakota Access Pipeline may be completed. Completion is in the interest of the American economic interests, but with the Army Corps of Engineers' new decision, it will be very tough to get the pipeline completed through the executive branch. Overall, the Standing Rock protest shows the immense fortitude and spirit of Native Americans in the United States. It shows that they are willing to fight for what they feel is right. They want to protect their drinking water from a possible oil leakage. That simple. It is also true that the builders of the pipeline have a strong case. It would help the United States as a whole decrease oil prices and decrease the United States' reliance on foreign oil. Ultimately, the events at Standing Rock are extremely complicated. It is not black and white, good or bad. Both sides have valid reasons for what they are doing. Only time will tell how the pipeline's construction will be dealt with by the government. Will it be completed? Will they find an alternate route? We'll have to wait and see.